So this is the AI agents we are going to be building today. But before we dive right in, we are going to look at why we even want to build these agents in the first place and what are the goals we want to achieve with these agents. Alright, so if you are new to this, an AI agent is a smart tool designed to perform specific tasks or solve problem on its own using artificial intelligence. So think of it as a virtual assistant or employee that can work for you around the clock, handling repetitive or complex tasks quickly and efficiently. So unlike the traditional software that you just follow preset instruction, an AI agent can analyze situations, make decisions, and even learn and get better over time. Alright, so and a little example of how an AI agent works is how AI agent works. So AI agent relies on advanced technology like machine learning and large language models, which are called LLMs. So to process information and understand human language in order to generate useful output. Alright, so for example, let's take a look at lead generation process. So imagine an AI agent that can help you to find new customers automatically without you lifting a finger. So this is how it works in real life. So the AI agent will find leads. Let's say you use LinkedIn to scrape your leads. So the AI agent will find leads. You will scrape LinkedIn profile to find people who match your ideal customer, your ICP, and it collects the information and save the name and the details you want to get from those accounts into a CRM. Then it writes a personalized message on its own to those people that match your ICP and send the message without you doing anything. All you need to do is just build the AI agent once and it does a heavy lifting for you. So the AI agents we are going to be building today we are going to be using it to solve a specific problem, a specific challenges this company is facing. So I made up a company called n8n. It's a fake company, hypothetical. So to demonstrate to you how AI agents really works in real life, and we are going to build it step by step like I mentioned earlier. So a little overview. n8n is a leading provider of eco-friendly home products. They face challenges in managing and responding to customer feedback effectively. With a growing customer base and increasing variety of feedback, they needed a solution to categorize, analyze, and act on feedback while maintaining a personal touch. So by implementing an AI-powered feedback system, so this company was able to transform its approach to customer satisfaction. So these are the challenges this company n8n is facing. So the large amount of customer feedback like complaints, compliment, feature requests, and other kind of feedback was too much for the customer service to handle. Also, they face delayed responses because they manually process and respond to feedback. So it led to delayed responses and impact customer satisfaction and brand reputation. Also, they lack insights because without proper categorization and analysis, valuable insights from feedback were often overlooked and preventing a business from addressing a recurring issue or identifying new opportunities. Other challenges they face include scalability issues. As the customer base grew, the existing feedback management process could not scale efficiently, leading to bottleneck in the service. Also, they meet trends because without automated analysis, the team often missed emerging trends or common themes in customer feedback, delaying critical adjustments to provide products and services. They also lack prioritization. The absence of this time to prioritize urgent or critical feedbacks like safety concerns or high value customer issues meant some issues were not addressed promptly. So the other challenges they faced was resource constraint and difficulty in tackling follow-ups. So let's look at the goals of this company after we look at the challenges they are facing. So their first goal is to streamline the feedback process by simplifying and organizing how feedback is handled to quickly manage large amount of inputs without confusion. Another thing is they want to find a way to respond to complaints. So they want to ensure customers receive fast and personalized replies to their concerns, helping to build and maintain trust and strong relationship. So another goal is to extract useful insights. Analyze feedback. So they want to analyze feedback in order to identify valuable ideas that can guide product improvements and enhance the overall customer feedback. Another goal they want to achieve is to address the recurring issue. They want to quickly identify and resolve common problems that keep appearing in order to improve satisfaction and reduce customer complaint over time. And they also want to build a scalable system. And another goal they are trying to achieve with this AI agents is to build an automated system to store all the feedback in one place to ensure better access and better organization. So this is the architecture of the AI agents we are going to be building today. So the first step is to collect the data, the feedback, which includes the name, their email, and the actual feedback detail. So we send it to an AI agent that will categorize the feedback based on the kind of content that is coming from this n8n form. So then we send it to a merge node to combine the data coming from here and the outputs coming from here. And then the next step is to send it to a switch node. This switch nodes will distribute the kind of feedback that it is to different Airtable, to different CRM, if it is complaint, feature request, or compliment. So the next step is to use an AI agent to write a personalized message, and I also use the AI agent to perform other actions based on different cases, to label the feedback based on its urgency level and other things. So basically this AI agent is going to be using the information coming from this Airtable to write a personalized response to the customer that submitted the reply, that submitted the feedback. Then the final step is to notify the team on Slack. So the next thing is to test this AI agent live and see how it actually works. Alright, so this is the actual feedback agent. To test this workflow, I'm going to be sending 3 different kind of feedback. One is a feature request, another one is compliments, and I'm going to be sending a complaint message also, a complaint feedback also. So I had ChatGPT to generate some set of feedback for me earlier, so I'm going to quickly run it through this AI agent to see how this actually works in real life. So the first feedback I'm going to be running through this AI agent is a complaint message sent by a customer. Hello, I recently bought your solar lantern, but it doesn't seem to charge properly. Even after leaving it in sunlight for hours, it worked greatly initially, but now barely holds the charge. Could you help me figure out what's wrong? This has been quite frustrating. So let's go ahead and copy this feedback and run it through the agent. So let's take the workflow. So for the name, I'll be inputting my name Yusuf. Okay. For the email address, and for the actual feedback, we are going to be pasting the feedback. Then we submit. So this is it happening in real time. Now it's writing a personalized message back to the sender. Alright, so let's check how it works. So we submitted the form, it's running through an AI agent that classified the kind of feedback it was and merge it together, send it to a switch node, then send it to the right Airtable, which is complaint Airtable. Let me zoom in to see. Send it to a complaint Airtable, then run it to a basic LLM chain AI agent to write a personalized email for the customer and send it through Gmail, then notify the team in Slack. So let's see if it actually sent the email. This is the mail I inputted. So we get a message here. Thank you for reaching out to Echo Heaven regarding your solar lantern. We understand your frustration and you are here to help. It appears that the solar lantern is not charging efficiently despite being exposed to sunlight. To troubleshoot this issue, please try the following steps. Ensure the solar panel are clean and free of any dust and debris. So it gives few troubleshooting steps and sign the message off with Echo Heaven support and all. So also it's send it to an Airtable. It's running to an Airtable and send the message through an Airtable. So let's go and check. Let's check the Airtable and see a complaint message. Yeah. So this is the actual message that was sent. So it has sent it to a complaint message in the Airtable. So the next thing that happened was, so the last thing that happened was sending the message and notifying the team on Slack about the complaint that was made. So let me pull up my Slack real quick and check this. Yeah, Slack customer complaints item. So this is the message. This was the message that was sent. This is another message that I ran through the agents earlier. So this was the message that came in now. urgent, medium priority, customer complaints. Item receive a medium priority and all. So it's included the sender name, the urgency level, and the complaint details, which is the actual feedback. So that's how it works for the complaint message. So I'm going to run this workflow again, but this time I'll be sending a feature request feedback, and let's see if the AI agent actually classified it well and respond to it properly. So let me delete this and test the workflow again. So for the feature request, I'll be using this message. I'll be using this particular feedback. Dear Echo Heaven team, your product have helped me live more sustainably, and I truly appreciate your efforts. Have you considered creating an eco-friendly biodegradable laundry detergent? It will complement your household product range and help families reduce their. So this is a feature request feedback. So let's see. Let's copy this and run it through the agents. So let me text workflow. This time I'll be using name USB and the email address again. So I'm going to be pasting the actual feedback, then I'll submit and see how it works. So it's running it through. It's classified as feature request feedback. So and it's running through the LLM, the agent, then write a personalized message to send back to the customer and also notify the team on Slack. So the first thing, let's check the Airtable if it has actually sent the data to the Airtable. So this is complete. So let's check feature request. Yeah, good. It has imputed. So it has stored the data into the Airtable CRM, and so the next thing is to check is the Gmail if it has sent mail to the customer. So let's go back. So this is the new message that came in. We true that our product have been helping you most of the time. Thank you for. So it sends a personalized message to reply the sender, Dear Yusuf, which was the name and everything that the message contains that the user needs to know. And also it notified his team on Slack. So let's check our Slack for the message. Feature request channel. So this was the message that was sent. Hi team, receive a feature request from our customer. Please see the details for the request consideration. Sender name Yusuf B, feature request, and yeah. So that's how it works, and it will do the same thing for the compliments. So without wasting much of time, let's just go ahead and start building the AI agent already. So the first thing to do is to create a new workflow. So I'm going to be naming this workflow Echo Heaven feedback. So good. So the first thing to do is to add a trigger node, and basically what will be telling the workflow to work. That's the simplest language I can use. So we are going to be adding a form trigger node, n8n form trigger node. By the way, you can use any form that you like, but for this case I'll be using the inbuilt n8n form. And the URL, I'm going to be using test URL. Production URL if you actually want to use it for real life cases, but this is a but for this case that I'm going to be testing this agent and building it for tutorial purpose, I'm going to be using a test URL. So for the authentication, you can leave it as none, and for the form title, we can just use Echo Heaven feedback. And for the form description, we can, let's just input, please input your feedback details. So for the labels, these are the labels that are going to be on the feedback. So for the first thing is the label name, and the label name is going to be the full name. So the first thing is to input the full name. For the type of field, it's going to be text, So there are other different options like email, number, and password, but I'm going to be leaving it as text. And for the placeholder, let's just write please input your name. So required field. So for this button, you toggle it on if you want the customer to, if you want the person that is going to be filling this form to make sure they actually input data. If this is turned off, they can actually skip the step and the form will go through. But if this is turned on, it won't go to the next step and the form won't submit, and it will continue to notify the user that they have to fill a particular space before it can. The other field I'm going to be adding is the email. So for the field name, email. For the field type, I'm going to be selecting the email, and for the placeholder, I can just write please input your email. So this is required also, and we are going to be adding the last field, which is, by the way, it can be as much as possible, but for this use case we are just going to be using 3 fields, which is the email, the name, and the actual feedback. The last field that we're going to be using is the feedback. For the type, I'm going to be leaving it as text, and for the placeholder, I'll just write please input your feedback in details. So I'm going to be toggling this button also. So let's test this step, append n8n attribution. This is just to show n8n signature on the form, so I'm going to be turning this off. So let's test this form and see what it looks like. So this is how the form looks like. So let's proceed. Stop listening. So let's save this. So the next thing to do is to input some set of data into this workflow in order to use it to continue working on the agent. So I'm going to test this workflow and input see the email. I'm going to be using the same email for the I will use to run the test. So anything. And for the feedback details, so I copied a complaint message to use to run this workflow. So submit, so form submitted, and yeah. So I'm going to be pinning this particular output in order to use it for the rest of the workflow. Alright, so perfect. Let's save this. So the next thing to do is to add an AI agent. So I'll be adding an AI agent. So the function of this AI agent is to classify the incoming data, this feedback, to classify it based on the kind of feedback it is. So I'm going to be leaving it as 2 agents, and for the prompts I'm going to be defining below. So let me go to expression and let me expand this. So earlier I've written all the prompts for the whole workflow. So I'm going to go and copy the prompts and paste it here, and don't worry, you have access to all these prompts and everything. In fact, I'll have a link down below that you're able to download this workflow and just download it. Let me show you how to do it. You just import it to your instance. When you download this, you download the file and import it to your instance, then it will be ready for you to use. So let me go ahead and paste the prompts. So this is the prompts I wrote for this AI agent. So basically the prompt is just instructing it to classify the information coming in, if it is complaint, compliment, or feature request. So it will output the following: a complaint, compliment, or a feature request. So a little bit about the prompts. You are an AI feedback classifier designed to categorize customer feedback into one of 3 specific categories: complaints, compliments, or feature request. Carefully analyze the feedback text, consider its intent, and classify it correctly based on these clear definitions. So I now leave a space for it down here that now classify this feedback. So I'm going to be dragging this schema, this actual feedback, and I'm going to be putting it here, and you can see on the result it's outputting the actual feedback. So I'm going to leave this here. Just add a chat model. So the function of the chat model is for the agents to reason. So for the chat model, I'm going to be going with Google Gemini. So I already set up my credential, but if you want to set up your credential, you just click on this and it will show this window. Then you go ahead and copy your API key. So to copy Google Gemini API key is very simple. So you just come to aistudio.google.com. You just click on this create an API key, then you input your name. After inputting a name, then you'll be able to create an API key. Then you copy it, then you come back here to input it. Very simple. But I've already set up my own credential, so I don't need to do all that again. So yeah, that's good. So let's test this step to see how it works. Let me test. So let me test this agent to see if it actually give me back a data or something. And another thing is you can give the agent tools based on your use cases, calculator, Wikipedia, anything. But I really don't need anything like that for this particular agent. So I'm going to be leaving it like this. So let me test this step to see if it works. Yeah, good. It actually returned an output for me as a complaint. So it identified this particular message as a complaint, which is very cool. Dear team, I purchased a set of LED light bulbs, and after using it for a few weeks, I've started flicking the disappointment. So it is a complaint. So the agent works well and identify it as a complaint message. So yeah, that's good. Let's save this. So the next thing to do is to add a merge node. To add a merge node, just search merge. So for the mode, we are going to be using combine and by position. Yeah, so the first input and this will be the second input. So the purpose of the merge node is just to combine the data that is coming in from here and the output that is coming in from here. So let me rename this AI agent as classifier. So it's good to name your workflow, your node, so that in case you have a huge or complex workflow, you're able to identify which node is which. So if you want to troubleshoot or for any other thing. So the next thing is to add a switch node. So this switch node is to send the type of feedback that is coming to the correct Airtable for further operation. So to add the switch node, we are just going to click on this and search for switch. Yeah, so for the switch node, let me execute previously so that I can load data. So for the switch node, we are going to be leaving it as rules, and for the routing values, so the first thing is the first switch we want to create, the first line we want to create is for the complaint. So we are going to be dragging this schema to the value, and we are going to be renaming it. We are going to be naming it as a complaint. So let me go ahead and name it. So rename outputs. So this is just to give back the name outside. I'll show you how it works. So just copy this and paste it here. So if I go outside, you see it's actually come back as complaint. So that's the purpose of this output name. So the next output is going to be our feature request. So we are going to be dragging the same output from the classifier, and we are naming it as feature request this time. Feature request. Feature. feature request. So output name, again copy this and paste it here. So the third route is going to be the complement. So let's drag this here again, name it as complement. Complement. So it's going to be complement. Copy it again and paste it here. So the routing, okay, I think we are good to go. So let's test this step. So it's identify the incoming inputs as a complaint and send it through the switch and send it to the complaints route. So if you go outside, if you go out the switch node, you see that it's coming out from the complaints route. So that's good. Let's save this. Alright, so the next thing to do for this workflow is to add an Airtable. So I'm going to be using Airtable for the CRM. So you can use Google Sheets or anything that you use for your CRM, but for this case I'm going to be using an Airtable in order to store the information that is coming in from this form. And so let's go ahead and create and set up our Airtable. To set up the Airtable node, we are just going to click on this and search for Airtable. So there are many actions here, but we are going to be creating a record. Create a record. So to set up our Airtable, I've already set up my own Airtable credentials, but to set up an Airtable credential, this is how you're going to do it. So okay, let me create a new credential for this Airtable, for this workflow itself. So let's create a new credential. So we are going to be inputting an access token. So to do that, let's go to our Airtable. For the Airtable, you just search for airtable.com and you can use a free plan. It's very okay. So you create a new workspace and so you click on create. We start from scratch. So we create our tables that we want to use in the n8n to store our data. So we are going to leave this as name. So let's edit this as it's going to be an email. For the type, we are going to be selecting email. Save. So let's edit this and change it to the actual feedback. So feedback details. Long text. We save. So we don't need this other table. Let's just delete this field. Alright, good. So the table name, let's rename the table name. This is going to be complaint. Complaint. So this is going to be a complaint. Save. So we've created a complaint for this, and the base, let's name our base as echo heaven. So let's just duplicate this particular table and move on with it. Duplicate table here, duplicate table. So let's just rename it. This is going to be feature request. So save. So for this is going to be the complement. Table. Good. So perfect. So the next thing to do is to come to this account, your account, go to builder hub, then we are going to be creating a new token. So our token name, let's name it as Echo Heaven, and so we are going to be adding scopes. So these scopes is what is inside this n8n if you want to create a new credential. So these are the scope that we are going to add: data record read, data record write, schema based read. So these are the scopes you are going to add to create the token. So let's go Airtable. So we are going to be selecting data record read, data record write, and schema record read. Yeah, good. So we are going to add a base too. The base is Echo Heaven. So and then, but let's make sure we selected this right, schema based read. Schema based, yeah, of course it's schema based read. So let's create a token. Yeah, let's copy this down. So we go back to our n8n, then we input this token, then we save it. Yeah, it will go green. Yeah, good. We are good to go. So we are going, the resource is going to be record, and we are going to be creating. So from the base list, we are going to be selecting Echo Heaven. So for the table, this particular table we are creating is for compliance. So we are going to be selecting compliance. So and it's going to fetch the column. Yeah, good. So we are going to drag and drop this schema inside. The name, we are going to be dragging this, the full name. So the next field on the value is the email. So we are going to drag in the email here, and you can see it's outputting the value here, and the actual feedback details. Yeah, good. So let's test this step. Yeah, good. So it's returned back a data for us. So let's edit this table and edit the name and write the actual name. Compliance. Yeah, good. So if you check our Airtable, we should have the data stored in our Airtable. So yeah, perfect. It has successfully stored in our Airtable. So let's continue to view the workflow. So what I'm going to do to make this fast is just I'm going to duplicate this and use it for other ones too. So let me have this, the feature request, rename this as feature request, yeah. So and for the table, I'm going to be selecting feature request. So and for the last one is the complement. So for the list, I'm going to be selecting complement. Yeah, perfect. So let's save this. Yeah, good. We're good to go. So alright, so the next thing is to add an AI agent that will be able to write a personalized mail to respond back to the sender's complaints and also categorize the complaints based on its urgency level. So I'll just add a basic LLM chain. So let me go to AI agents, basic LLM chain. Alright, so I'm going to be defining below, and yeah, so let me go ahead and copy the prompt I have written earlier and paste it here. Alright, so this is the prompt I wrote for this particular agent. So this prompt will be able to write a personalized email and send it back to the customer, and also it will be able to categorize the incoming complaints based on its urgency level, which I defined here, either high,
medium, or low based on the content of the feedback. So, and also to write a personalized email to send back to the customer. So the data we are going to be inputting here is the customer, the complaint, the actual complaint that is coming back, the feedback that the customer sent, and the name of the customer. So yeah, those are the two things we are inputting in. And also I had a little knowledge base here. Normally the normal way to add a knowledge base for an AI agent is if you choose an original AI agent which is not basically launching. So there will be this thing here. There will be an option to add a tool, and this is where you add the knowledge base. But for this purpose of this video, and it's just an hypothetical company, so I just included some troubleshooting tips inside the actual prompt. That's why it's this long. So it's not meant to be this long, but for the purpose of the video. So I just give it a little bit context about the company and some troubleshooting tips to be able to include in the mail to reply to the complaint of the sender. So yeah, that's about that. And so I'm going to be adding an output parser, and the purpose of this is to be able to separate the mail, the email, the body, and the message, or else everything will just be coming, the output is just coming as a chunk, as a huge chunk. Like there won't be separation between the email body, the email subject, and the actual urgency level. So that's why I turn this on, so to be able to add an output parser. So that's why to bring up this output parser. So let me add a model. We are going to be going with the Google model. Yeah, and for the output parser, I'm going to be using structured output parser, and I'm going to be defining the parser. So the purpose of this is just to give the parser a context of this is what I expect it to output. For example, the way this is here is based on the content of the output that the agents want to give back. So you just give it. Let me show you how it works. I'm going to be writing the parser here now, so let me just write this real quick. Alright, so this is the output parser, and the essence of this is to give us back a structured, well-written result. So the way this works is, for example, there is email body here, so it's going to separate email body from the email subject and from the urgency level itself. So that's the essence of the output parser. So let's test this step and let's see what it will give us back. Let me save this. Alright, so let's test this step. Yeah, perfect. So it's added the context in three separate fields. So we have the email body, we have the email subject, and the actual urgency level. This is the essence of adding the output parser. If we didn't add the output parser, everything will be as a whole, like it will be combined. The email body with the email subject and the urgency level, everything will be in the same place. So the essence of the output parser. So the next thing in the workflow is to add the actual email, the actual Gmail node to be able to send email back to the customer rather. So we are going to be adding the Gmail node, and for the action we are going to be sending a message. Yeah, send a message. So I already have my Gmail account, and to set up your account, you click on create credential, and it will bring up this, so you'll be able to sign in your email. So it's very simple and it's not that complicated. Yeah, so and also the Google both this thing, it's another thing on its own. So to set it up, n8n have a good documentation of walking you through how to set up some credentials, so it's pretty simple and not really complicated. Alright, so but I've already set up my own, so I'll just leave it like that and select this. So for the resource, I'm going to be selecting message, and for the operation, I'm going to be sending a message, and for this space is who I'm sending the message to. So I'm going to be dragging the schema, the email here, and for the subject, I'm going to be dragging the actual subject that we got from the LLM chain. And for the email type, I'll be sending text. You can send your own as HTML, but I'll be sending it as actual text. And for the audience, for the message body, I'll be dragging the schema here. Yeah, so another thing to do here is to append the n8n attribution. So if I toggle this off, there won't be any signature of n8n sending n8n signature on Gmail. But if it is on, there will be something at the bottom of the email that the person is going to get, like this message is automatically sent with n8n. So you don't want to have that on your email, so you are going to be turning this off. So let's test this step now. Yeah, we got an output saying the message has been sent. So let's check our Gmail, that we got the new listing here. So the message actually came through with all the troubleshooting steps and the sample number to call and other things to do. So that works pretty well. So the next thing to do is to notify the team on Slack about the complaint that come in and the urgency level. So let me you'll be able to see the workflow very well. Yeah, it's to notify the team on Slack. So let me add a Slack note. Yeah. So we are going to be sending a message for the Slack action. There is a lot of action to be used, but I'm going to be sending a message. Yeah, send a message. So for the Slack, also to set up the Slack is very simple. If you click on create your credential, connect my account. When you click on connect my account, it will show your account here. So, but for me, I only have one account on this PC, so it will just show your channels here over here. So the channel I have, this is my Slack account, and if you have multiple Slack accounts, you just select, but this is the only one I have, and you give it the permission to access your Slack. So just click on allow and you are good to go. I've done that already, so I don't need to do it again. So for the message, for the resource, we are going to be selecting a message, and for the operation we are going to be sending, and where we are going to be sending message to is the channel. And I already have everything created here. Basically, you just go into your Slack and create your channels. You create multiple channels, which is very easy. Channels, you just click on create and you create a channel, and that's all. So you just create a channel and you have everything here, and you name your channel. So I already have this channel created. I have the feature request, the customer feedback, the customer complaint, or the box, so all the channels here. So let me quickly clear all this to be able to see our workflow working in real time. So let me delete all this, so in case any new message come in, we're able to know that okay, this thing is working well. Let me just clear all this. These are the things I ran earlier. For the feature request, for the complaints, everything is alright. Yeah, perfect. So everything is clean. So this is like a new channel that I've not written anything inside. So let's leave that way, and let me go back to let's go back to our workflow. Yeah, back to our workflow. So the way we are going to be sending message to, you can either choose user or channel, but because it's a customer support team Slack channel, so I'll be sending it to a channel, and for the channel we are going to be sending the message to, since it's a complaints message, I'm going to be sending to the customer complaint channel, and the message type is going to be simple text message. And for the actual message I'm going to be sending, so I'm going to write the message here to notify the message the team is going to be getting on the Slack. So let me go ahead and copy and paste this. Alright, so this is the message I drafted for the Slack channel. So I'm going to be dragging in the schema now, the message, so that it can make sense to you. So urgent priority customer complaints, I'm going to be dragging it here. Yeah, so for the results, you can see it makes sense now. Medium priority customer complaint. So I'm going to be dragging the schema so to be able to know the output that we want to get. So, and here item, we've received a medium priority message, or the urgency level. We've received a medium priority complaint from the customer, this and that. So we are going to be adding the sender name. This is the sender name. You should see, and the urgency level, of course, again. By the way, you can write it the way you want for your Slack team to know based on your use cases whether the kind of product you are selling or the kind of service you are rendering. You can edit the message based on your own. Just drag the schema and add it here. And also the actual complaints you are going to be sending, the actual feedback. So this is the actual feedback we are going to be putting it here. Yeah, perfect. So it makes sense now. Hey team, we received a medium priority complaint from our customer that requires immediate attention. Please take the following actions as soon as possible to resolve this issue. The sender name, the urgency level, and the customer and the complaint details, which is this. So a message has already been sent to the customer to acknowledge their feedback and assure we are working on. So this is actually talking about the message, the Gmail message we sent to the customer earlier. So, and with a little action on this thing here, please review the complaint thoroughly and work on resolving it quickly to ensure customer satisfaction. So that's good. So, and this option include link to the workflow. We are going to toggle this on, just like sending it back to the workflow or something like the n8n signature. So let's test this step. Yeah, perfect. We get some results back for our Slack channel. I don't know why this is this huge. It's not always like this, but the essence is we've gotten our Slack message back on our channel, and I think this is pretty cool though, because we might want to use the other output for another node. So maybe that is okay. So let's check our Slack channel. Customer complaint. Yeah, good. So we've gotten the message back in our Slack channel, which is very okay. So now let's proceed on doing another workflow. So let me save this. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to set up this feature request node, which is the next thing on in the workflow. So we are going to be writing another message, because the message that is in this workflow, is the complaint message. So we're going to be sending a feature request message to be able to continue the workflow over here. So let me go ahead and test step. So I'm going to unpin this and delete the message that's inside because it's a complaint message. So let's unpin this and save. So I'm going to go ahead and copy a feature request message to be able to complete this workflow. So I'll be right back. Alright, so this is an example of a feature request message which I asked ChatGPT to generate for me. There's a lot of message here to test the workflow, but let's just go with this number one and see how it works. So hi everyone, I've been using your reusable product bags for my groceries, and they are fantastic. However, I often find myself wishing they had compartments or dividers to separate the different items like fruit and vegetables in one bag. It would be so convenient and save space. Please consider this as an upgrade. Thanks for all you do. So let's copy this and use it to test the workflow. But the name this time around, I'm going to be using Yusuf D. By the way, because we've run the workflow multiple times to test some nodes, so it's possible we get some additional details on our Airtable, because we've continued to run the workflow because we are testing, obviously. So for the email, I'm going to be using the normal email I've been using. So n8n test n8n.com. So is this correct? So alright, perfect. So let's paste the actual feedback details that we copy. So I'm going to be submitting this. So there, it categorizes it as a feature request message. So let's check our Airtable node if it's there already. Feature request. Yeah, good. We have it in our Airtable node already. Yeah, our Airtable this thing already. So you should see it works very fine. So let's continue and add other part of the workflow. So you'll be able to see this very well. Alright, so the next thing on the workflow is to add a basic LLM chain. But what you can do is you can actually copy all this. So let me just duplicate this. Yeah, good. So I've duplicated this. Let me copy this also to make everything fast and the structured output also. Alright, good. Let me just hook it up with this. And the output parser. So that's pretty good. So let's go ahead and configure this particular LLM chain. So let's rename this so that we can identify it. So for this node, it's just a complaint. Let's just call it complaints writer. So for this, let's call it feature request writer. Okay. So for this feature request agent, let me call it feature request agent. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and configure this particular agent to be able to match the feature request things, because everything that is here, because we duplicated it, everything that is here is what is here. So it will be giving us a wrong output since we are using a feature request feedback to process a complaint feedback. So let's go ahead and reconfigure this. So for the message, I'm going to be copying and pasting the message I wrote for this particular agent. So I'll be back. Alright, so this is the prompt for the feature request agent. So you are an AI agent responsible for crafting professional and thoughtful response to a feature request for Eco-Heaven, an eco-friendly home products company. Your goal is to acknowledge and appreciate the customer for their valuable input. And so basically you can pause the video and read the prompts. So I'm going to be inputting this feed, this particular space that I left here for the feedback and the customer name, for it to use to be able to write the email that I want to send to the sender. So we need to add the actual feedback here. So we are going to be dragging this schema, which is the actual feedback, and you can see how everything is showing in the real time, how it's going to process it. And the other thing is to add the customer name, which is this. Yeah, perfect. So it came out well and be able to use it. So for the output parser, we're going to be editing this output parser because we are going to be using another thing. Actually we can use this, but there's something here that is not included in the agent, which is the urgency level. So let's just clear this and input its own output parser. So this is the actual JSON that is meant for this particular feature request workflow feature request node. So this doesn't have the urgency level, so it's specifically for the node. So you can, it's not something hard to write, it's just curly brackets and with this, and you just write it. But this tutorial is not a coding class or something like that, and it's not something hard. You can actually ask ChatGPT or DeepSeek to generate this for you, and it will be clear and nice. So, and everything will be linked down below for you to copy and check. So for your own use case, so you'll be able to write it. So that's okay that way. So let's just go ahead and test this step. Alright, let me save. Alright, let's test this step. Oh, we have a problem here. Doesn't require the format. Okay. Alright. What's going on here? Let's check what's going on here. Oh, I didn't include the actual format inside the node. Okay. The output that I want to get from the node, I didn't include it in the prompt. That's why we are getting this particular error. I think it's, yeah. So let me go ahead and include the output format in the node the way I want to get it in the node, so it will work for it. I'll be back. Let me edit the prompt. Alright, so I've added a simple line to be able to output the email body and email subjects separately. So it's just a simple line. Output the response as JSON objects with separate feed for just this, and it can be anyhow. You can write it anyhow, just to give the AI agent instructions to be able to output this separately. So let's test this again. Yeah, perfect. We get the email subject and the email body separately, so which is very nice. So let's go ahead and continue to the next node, which is the Gmail node. So let's just duplicate this and connect it here. Yeah, good. So let's configure this and edit this. This is not this. Alright, good. So let's drag all the schema. Let's drag the schema here so we will send this message. So the person we are going to be sending this message to, the sender, the email they give us at that time, and the subject of the mail, the email subject, the email type you are going to be leaving it as text, and the message body. Yeah, good. So, and this n8n something, I think we've already appended it. Yeah, sure. So let's go ahead and test this step to see how it works. Yeah, perfect. Node executed successfully. So we've sent an email. So let's check the mail, and yeah, this is a new mail. Not this. Thank you for contacting the collaboration. We are signing inconveniences. Why is this? Wait, let's check the content of the mail. Hi, everyone. I'm using. Fantastic. There's something wrong with the prompts, so let me go back and check. This is not the email we are supposed to get. Oh, I click on the, oh, this is the right email. So I was wondering. Exactly. So thanks for taking the time to share your feedback on our website. Okay, we appreciate you. So this is the response to the feedback request, to the feature request. Your input is valuable to us, and we're already looking for ways to improve our products here. I was confused earlier because I was reading a troubleshooting message instead of a feedback. Yeah, so it's working fine. This is the actual message. Alright, perfect. So the next thing on the workflow is to add a Slack node to be able to notify the team on Slack. So let's add a Slack node. Slack. We're going to be sending a message. Yeah, good. So let's configure it. So send a message to a channel, and this time we are sending a message to my Slack accounts. So this time we are sending a message to the feature request, simple text message. And so let me go ahead and write the Slack message, and I'll be back. Alright, this is the short Slack notification message that I wrote for this particular workflow. So 18, we've received a feature request from one of our customer. Please see the details below and review the request for consideration. So the sender message, so the sender name is this, the name, we are going to be dragging the name, and the actual feature request, we are going to be dragging it here. Yeah, good. So if you check the results, it came out well. We received a feature request, this and that, and so this is the actual thing we are going to be getting in our Slack node. So this is the message we are going to be getting in our Slack node. So let me go ahead and append the n8n signature. Alright, so let's test step and see how that came out. Yeah, so we got an output. So let me pull on our Slack and check if it's working fine. Feature request. Yeah, customer feature request. So from Yusuf D. So our message came back in. We received a feature request from one of our customer CDB also, and the actual request message here. And you can, by the way, structure it anyhow you like. So that's working fine. So let's save this. So the last part of the workflow is to configure the compliments. Yeah, so that's the last part of the workflow. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to be running another message into this workflow to be able to another compliments message into the workflow to be able to continue the configure the other nodes. So let me clear the message here. So I'll go ahead and copy the compliment message and run into the workflow. Alright, so this is the series of compliments that our ChatGPT generates for me. So let's go ahead and copy one and use it there for organization that can workshop and that's information. Okay, I think this is pretty okay. Let's use this. So let's take the workflow again and input it. This time around I'll be using Yusuf. Let's go with Yusuf K. By the way, the reason why I'm adding the alphabet is to be able to change the name and just like identify it in the Airtable and or for the example. So and for Gmail I'm going to be using the same mail. So then n8n test gmail.com. Yeah, perfect. So let me paste the feedback and submit this. Yeah, it came to the right node and it identified as a compliment. Everything is working out fine. So let's check our Airtable to see compliments. Yeah, it came out nice and we have our actual compliments here and it's stored in our compliments node table. So let's continue the workflow by adding the agents. So let me just copy this and duplicate. Yeah. So let me wire this up. Yeah, perfect. So the next thing is to configure this because it's coming as feature request. Everything inside the node is a feature request details. So let's start with changing the actual name to complement. Yeah, and also so the prompts. So let me go ahead and edit this prompt to be able to satisfy the compliments feedback details. Alright, so this is the short prompt I gave this particular agent. It's just to reply back to the compliment. So to be able to personalize it and make them feel like it's the company itself that sent the message and not some generated or robotic message, to feel more personal. So let's fill the field here. So we are going to be adding the customer name and this is it. Let's add the customer name and the actual feedback they shared. Thank them to send it. Okay, this is actual feedback they sent. Yeah, good. So you're a customer support agent. Your job is to write a personalized and friendly email in response to a customer compliment. Start with warm greeting using the customer first name and thank them sincerely for their compliment and acknowledge it. So this is the message. So and for the output parser, let's just give it a context of it sending the actual message. So let me go ahead and delete this and include the actual output parser. So this is just to acknowledge the message. Just give the parser a context of what to send. Alright, so that's great. So let's test this side and see what it gives us. Yeah, very nice. It gives us the image suggested separately and the body separately. So the next thing is to add the Gmail node to send the message. So Gmail, and you are going to be sending a message. Alright, the person we are sending the message to, just like before, the email. And the subject of the message. And we are going to be sending our message as a text and not HTML, so we are selecting text. And the actual message body. Yeah, good. So let's append n8n attribution to you to get the message without n8n signature. So let's test this step and see if it works. Yeah, perfect. So we get an output and a message has been sent. So let's check our this thing. So of course we get a new message. It even had an emoji echo even. Oh, it was right there. It was right here. So good. Thank you so much, Yusuf. Thank you so much for your kind compliment. We are thrilled to hear that you found our composting workshop informative and inspiring. Your feedbacks mean the world to us. It's so encouraging to know that our efforts to promote sustainable practices are making a difference. So the message is nice and personalized and actually acknowledge the feedback and not just cliche message of thank you for your feedback. Yeah, and sign the message of it. Thank you, the Echo Heaven team. So that's pretty nice. So So the next thing is to notify the team on Slack that a message has been sent to the team. So let me the Slack node. So we are sending a message as usual. Yeah, send a message. So this time we are sending the message to okay. So this time we are sending the message to all the box, or yeah, let me just send it here because it's a general compliment message for the team to celebrate soon. So I'm going to go ahead and write the message, then I'll be back. I mean the message we are sending to the Slack. Alright, good. So this is the message we are going to be sending to the Slack team. It's a very short message. So let's drag our customer name here, the name. This is the customer name and the customer feedback. This is the customer feedback. So a team will receive a compliment from one of our customers. Here's their details, the customer name and the customer feedback. So let's take a moment to celebrate. So this is a short message and let's append the n8n signature. Yeah, good. So let's go ahead and test this step to see what it gave us. So it has sent a message to the Slack. Let's check. Out the box. Yeah, good. So this is the message that was sent. We receive a compliment from our customer name Yusuf K and the Echo team. So this is the actual feedback. So that's working very fine and good. So that's all about this agent. So And another thing you can do is to add some notes. Maybe you want to use um a different platform for your customer team, or a different CRM like Google Sheet or whatever you want to use it. And also you can change the model, this particular AI agent model. So anything that you want to use, you can change it to your use case. And you can also add other notes, like other things that you want to include in the workflow. Like for example, this particular Gmail, you can actually change this note to a draft message note. So when the message is coming in from this AI agent, it won't send the message, it will just draft the message for us to send. You can change this as a draft. So to do that, you just come here, search for Gmail. So on the notes, you see create a label, delete a label, send a message, create a draft. So you can create a draft instead of actually sending a message. So it will just be there for you in your Gmail. You just go ahead and enter your Gmail instead of how we are getting it here. So you go to your particular Gmail, your own Gmail that you're using to send the email, and you review it for any further action, maybe to give it some personal touch and all before you can send it on your own, and the workflow will continue on its own. So that's it about that. So you should take your time to check this very well, and I will leave a link to download this workflow to be able to download it and use it in your own instance. So that's all for this video. By the way, if you find this helpful, kindly give a like and subscribe, because I'm building more about n8n workflow and actual workflows, AI agents that are used to solve real life cases, and not just random workflow for fun, but one that are good for real life use cases. And also, if you want me to build and implement some custom solution for you, you check the link below and we'll talk. So that's all for this video.